Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Eddie Marcus again. You know, it's amazing how plans and things work out that are just set to be, and perhaps we as people have very little to do with it. I guarantee when Brother George Floyd the other day was taking care of his business, doing what he felt he had to do, he had no idea that what was about to happen to him was going to happen. So, in essence, he was selected out of all that has been happening and was happening at that moment to become a beacon to the whole world, just like the sun shining on me today, to allow the world to see itself as it really is without any denying. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. I think of this because not too many years ago, perhaps in 1984, the power of the spirit of love and compassion for all of those who were suffering moved on me in such a way that I left Minnesota traveling across the country on faith. Faith means with a tank full of gas and $50 in my pocket. And to share with the world, share with the world the goodness of God and what the whole purpose was and is. And one of the things that caught my attention the most is because leaving Minnesota, I left going in a direction which was opposite the direction I had planned on going. The way I had planned on going was to go through some cities and maybe through some towns where I knew some people. So if push come to a shove, and this was a faith mission, maybe I can count on somebody to get some help. Well, I ended up going the wrong way. When I needed to fill my tank up with gas, I discovered that I was going the wrong way. Having discovered that I was going the wrong way, I knelt down on my knees and prayed and asked God what was going on. And the message that immediately came back to me said, this is to be a mission of faith. Now, if this is a mission of faith, go forward on faith or go back home. So I went forward. And on the mission, I was given direction to keep a diary of events and entitle it American Christians and Americans on the Path to Hell. I went around the country, ladies and gentlemen, on street corners, in churches, in Sunday schools, in discussions, back on the street corners, wherever I can get into an organization, discussing, sharing with people everywhere. Did that a couple of times, ladies and gentlemen. As I came back home and started putting my notes and stuff together, I found out the evidence, which was my diary, supported the fact that people are on the path to hell. I began to see the significance of my message. I began to see the message was, oh, my friends, it was so wonderful and it's so easy. I guess it was so wonderful and so easy, people just couldn't believe it. Well, whatever the excuse is. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I found it necessary to try to do what I could to lift up this message of freedom and liberation up. Oh, yes, I did. Ran for office several times, but I'll just mention it because the outcome was the same each time. Lifting up this great, wonderful life that has been designed for us. And it was rejected. Has always been rejected. Didn't matter what other political pursuits I might have taken. The outcome was the same. The people just didn't want to hear it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was quite a few years ago when that started. And then I recognized the fact that having brought to you the greatest plan imaginable, I haven't heard anything about it, a plan. I mean, I heard somebody talk about the outcome, but not the plan. And you rejected, you couldn't hear it. I began to see myself as what you had put down as nothing. You know, a second-class citizen, black man. And on top of that, broke, no money. And I'm talking to you about change, and you've been taught that that was despicable. Pay no attention to that. Well, it's amazing how that plan came. It came just like that. Came the way you were trained to not accept. And the evidence of that is that in 2016, a white man, which you had been trained to accept, boasting that he had money, which you loved, boasting that he didn't need anybody else's money, that he could use his own money. And that just blew your mind because he convinced you that you could trust him, that he'd come to your rescue. That's what you were trained to believe, and that's what you accepted. And then all of a sudden, having come to this date, I can see us on the path to hell. All of us, ladies and gentlemen, every last one of us on the path to hell right now. That includes me. But I'm trying to get off this path to hell by shining a light before the world through these words, through these moments, to you, through this vehicle, just as the sun is shining on me this morning. I want you to know that we have a situation right here where the challenge is being made. Evil is being personified all over. We don't even have to think about it as a spirit any longer. It is embodied in so many people. They're holding rallies to emphasize and glorify hate and division. They're holding rallies where people are signing away their lives just to come together and be a part of a rally of hate. They are actually signing away their lives when they say that they'll take a chance on this coronavirus and coming together, contacting each other, touching one another, just so they can glorify hate and the unity against hate. A unity for hate. I declare this is absolutely something, ladies and gentlemen. You don't even have to worry about what's going on. The thing of it is, why is it going on? And what messages is sending to you, and how will you respond? I have said, to me, it is easily Judgment Day. To see evil standing out so bold, that came into the America, which had held itself up before the world as being the number one nation. It wasn't really, but it held itself as being. And evil walked in 2016. Started its stuff. Been evil before it came in. Got here, kept the evil going. And not even the Constitution of the United States. Not only that, it's 300 million people in all of their professions cannot curtail this evil. And now he has bar on his side, which represents the law that you have set up, that you said no one was above and would protect you. And now that same law is walking all over America. And their only hope is that somebody can beat him in the next presidential election, when he is planning to conquer this whole thing by then, by hate. Why? Because he believes it. And ladies and gentlemen, when I want you to know that the message to you is that you're on the path to hell, because you don't have anyone really to tell you and to enlighten you about truth. And see, the ultimate truth is not so much the walk. It is definitely the walk, because it prepares you for the last step. But it is the last step, my friend. It is that most important, because that's it. And here we are this day, when the judgment is before you. And what step do you make? You see, there are those of you who call yourselves Christians. God wants you to know that your Christianity and your standing before, giving God glory and honor, saying how wonderful God is to you, as I'm saying today to you, that is no question. The question is, what are you to God? Can God brag on you? Trump can brag on the people that he say he could kill on Fifth Avenue, and they will allow him to get away with it. He can brag on the people when he goes to a Coliseum and invite thousands of people together, knowing that they might lose their lives, and they run and come anyway. Now, somebody might say, well, when the coronavirus, the church wouldn't even assemble themselves, and they talking about God. Well, see, God don't play that way. God is in you, and wherever you are, that's where God is, if you know the truth. If you don't know the truth, you feel that you have to assemble yourselves in a building. That has nothing to do with God. That's where people usually come together and to talk about what they are doing for God and asking who else can help them do what they are doing for God so God can get the glory. And what is God doing? God is making sure that the people on this earth are happy. God is making sure that the people on this earth are experiencing the same things right here today that somebody got you convinced that you got to die and go to. Now that might be the case. I'm not saying it's not. But I'm saying the business of life right here today is not to be in bondage, to not let someone take away the gifts. Everybody that came on earth, God has given a gift. And that gift has been to participate in the creative process of extracting from the resources that God has given you in the physical earth and that spiritual stuff of your brain and your imagination, giving you the gift to extract and build and create like he created you for the benefit of humankind everywhere. And you let somebody come here and tell you that's a lie. Come here and tell you that you are superior to others. Come here and tell you that these are second-class citizens. Come here and rob you of all of that. The entertainers you came in, you sold out. You were supposed to be entertaining the world, not for money. You sports figures, same for you. You're doing it for money. That was for the world. You're engineers. You're supposed to do the great things that only you can do for the world, for one another, not for money. Oh, you say the world is getting it, yes, but look at the car. Look at the poverty. Look at the crime. Look at the violence. Where does this stuff come from? It comes from denying the same wonderful things that some who got money can enjoy. And they really don't enjoy it because there's pain. And sometimes it has to affect some people some kind of way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know this. God wants you to know that you're on the path to hell. And that includes all of the Christians. Because Christians, this is for you. Especially those of you who believe in Jesus. You have been led to believe that all you have to say, and you accept this as fact, that you believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he was born by a virgin, lived on this earth just like all the rest of us, that he ended up being crucified, and he rose from the dead and ascended back to heaven with his Father. And that if you believe in him, you follow after him and do the things that he would do. That means you're saved. Now you've been taught that, but God didn't tell you that. You see, that came out of a book written by some people who said God talked to the people that's in the book. And they are telling you through their writing that happened. Now there's an intermediary in there, call himself a preacher, or whatever you want to call him, a pope or a father, who's going to read this book and going to tell you what this man who put this stuff together is saying that these people that in that book has said about God. And this is how you're supposed to know about God. That kind of seems like it's complicated, doesn't it? When if God can speak to anybody, if God could speak to the people that supposedly is in the book that was spoken to, why can't God speak to you? That sounds like a big old trick. And in your mind, every last one of you think that you know best, but you conform to what you have been taught. You keep going to church. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, then I'm going to let you go, because I'm just repeating some of these other videos that's passing through my mind right now. God made this world for us to live as if we were in heaven. That means whatever you can imagine about heaven, whatever you can imagine about heaven is supposed to be happening right here on earth. And the glory of it is in the middle right here. Look at the world today. I want you to look at the world today the way it is. Just stop for one moment. Stop for one moment, every last one of you, and think. Imagine. Look at the world the way it is right now. All the pain, all the suffering, all the turmoil, all the protests, all the violence, all the cop killings, everything, the wars. Just think about it right now. Stop, stop, stop. Now I want you to imagine that out of this whole big ball of mess, they used to call it the ball of confusion. I think the Temptations called it that. I want you to imagine it pulling off those levels of ugliness, being pulled off by we, the people, all of us, unfolding back that cancer, setting the human spirit free to live joyously, exercising our true gifts that we have been given to use here, that gives us our greatest joy. And we, my friends, start, can't you see it? I mean, can't you imagine it? And all you gotta do is change. Change, what I mean by change is stop thinking that you're superior. You're not. Stop thinking that just because you're the original people that you're superior to everybody else. You're not. Everything is connected one to another. The beginning is connected to the end. And I'm telling you, baby, a weak link can kind of mess up the whole darn thing. So we got to be strong in this and forget about that other stuff. Forget about going to heaven. Let's start thinking about creating heaven. Forget about hating one another. Let's start thinking about how good it could be. How good it could be. How good it could be. Ask God. You might not like this, but ask God. Interracial groups. Yeah, they got their problems too. But you can and ask them. I'm sure they will affirm how good it can be. It can be fantastic. You see, ladies and gentlemen, whether you know it or not, we're all one family. But we don't have to dwell on that because now we got a purpose. We can see it. The coronavirus, we'll defeat that as we wake up. And considering about trying to make things better with the cops and the community, we know that the only way that can be done is to change the system. A change of system that people's needs are met. So what are cops there for? To protect law and order? Well, ain't nothing, there's no disorder. Why? Because people are satisfied. What you gonna walk around with a gun for? What are you gonna walk around talking about protect? You might walk around and remind people sometimes, you know, like when you step on driving on the highway and you start doing some stuff that's kind of dangerous to the road. Now you can warn somebody, hey, that wasn't proper. Oh, I'm okay. But other than that, hey, buddy, I want you to imagine with me, ladies and gentlemen, and when you go to those polls, if we can survive until the election day, when you go to those polls to vote, I hope you're able to go to those positions that says, if you don't want these, who do you want? And I want you to write in your name. I want you to sign up for God's plan. I want you to sign up, stating to the nation and to the world that you are going to be a participant in change. You're going to be a participant in change. We're not going to sign up for a continuation of this evilness. And I don't mean, when I say this evilness, I don't want you to really think that I'm talking about Trump and the Republican Party, though I am. I don't want you to think that I'm just talking about Joe Biden, if he's the nominee, and the Democratic Party, though I am. But I'm also talking about all of us. All of us. We are no different than Donald Trump and the Republican Party. We are no different than Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. We're no different than white people or black people. We are all in this mess together. Every last one of us. I don't give a stank what you have done. If you are in this mess right now, you are a participant of it. I'm sitting right here, and everything that I have spoken to you about today is about change, is about beauty, is about wonderfulness, is about divine, it's about God, it's about life. And yet, I'm still, like you, sitting in the middle of this of this mess. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to end it there. We got to do something, okay? Have a nice day. Eddie Marcus say goodbye.